Hi everyone, it's Ailin here, back for another video. I hope you're all doing well. Yeah, I know a lot of you guys are struggling right now in the midst of different detox symptoms, different detox healing crises. But I want you to know that that's perfectly normal to experience during your detox journey. And that's really what I wanted to talk about today. I wanted this video to include a lot of different detox symptoms, like what's normal, what's not normal, what signs to watch out for, what signs are a good hint that you're moving forward, that you're taking steps forward towards the right direction into completely healing your body. Because I know whenever you're in the midst of a detox symptom or a healing crisis, whether that's physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, all those things, it can have you feeling a certain type of way, like you're feeling unsure on the path that you're taking. You may be asking yourself, well, am I getting better or am I getting worse? Many people, they can feel like they're getting worse during these detox symptoms and healing crisis episodes. And yeah, I just really wanted to touch up on that topic today. So this video is by no means planned, but it was definitely inspired by all the different calls that I've been having with clients the past few days, especially. A lot of you guys are like right on the brink of making that breakthrough. And I can speak from personal experience. And when I was healing myself many years back, it took a lot of strength of spirit. It took a lot of detachment, from my physical body sometimes, because sometimes when we attach too much to what's going on in our body, any little thing can start to worry us. So practicing detachment is something that I always recommend, when going through these detox symptoms, because the body changes so much. Like all of the chemistry that's taking place in the body when you're consuming the raw foods, when you're consuming the herbs, many different physical changes are taking place, and some things may not make any sense at all. We see this especially with blood tests. When you take your blood and see your blood test results during detox, things sometimes don't really make sense. Like, the cholesterol levels can rise up, or you can see like, oh well, you're deficient in this nutrient, right? Or your blood sugar levels can go all crazy back and forth. Blood pressure can go crazy, things like that, basal temperatures. But really, it's about detaching, not letting your mind get the best of you, and know that you are moving forward. And now, of course, this depends on case to case, but most of the times, detox symptoms are a sign that good things are happening within your body, okay? So yeah, I just wanted to go through any detox symptoms that just come to my head right now, because there's literally probably hundreds and hundreds of different detox symptoms that people can feel, and it'll be different from person to person. So whatever comes to my mind, I'll talk about. So I guess one of the most common detox symptoms that people feel are cold and flu-like symptoms. Now let's start with that first. Cold and flu-like symptoms are always a good thing to feel. When we detox our bodies, when we change from a standard American diet or from a cooked diet to a raw diet, all the channels of elimination start to open up, right? So in the human body, for those of you that are new to detox, there's 4 different channels of elimination that are the main ones that we're always going after when you start to heal your body. That is the kidneys, the kidney connected to the lymphatic system. That relationship is essential. Seeing sediment in your urine, cloudy urine, is absolutely essential. But if you were to show that to someone that does not understand detox, like most medical doctors or even most naturopathic doctors, they will think, oh, well, that's not normal. You have a kidney infection, right? Or you're very dehydrated. But that's not what that means. That means that you're finally moving all the cellular waste out of your body, And the body uses the kidneys in order to do that, in order to eliminate waste. Because something that's really not well known in this day and age, sadly, is that most diseases, most health problems, health issues are caused by lymphatic sewage, lymphatic waste, acidosis, obstructions within the body. Literally, people are putrefying from the inside out due to mucus forming foods, due to chemical and drug toxicity, not being able to be moved out of the body through the lymph system, different things. Whenever you have such a backed up lymphatic system and your kidneys stop filtering at some point in your life, and some people are born with not being able to filter, that's when they encounter diseases very early on in life. But essentially, when that happens, you can fall to things like mold toxicity, fall to things like chemical toxicity, all those things, viruses, viral loads, all those things, allergies, allergens, being sensitive to those things is very possible, you know? So it's like an epidemic that we're facing. The kidneys alone, they don't just stand alone in the body, right? To get them to filter again, you have to address all the weaknesses within someone's body. And that's done by analyzing the symptoms that a person is portraying, analyzing their eyes. The eyes themselves, a good close-up photo of your eyes can tell you everything that you need to know about your body and what's going on within. What areas are congested, what areas are genetically weak that need, immediate attention, what areas have drug deposits. What is the state of your colon actually? Do you have bowel pockets? Do you have impacted stools? Do you have tissue degeneration in certain organs and glands in your body? How's your nervous system? How's your circulation? Do you have cholesterol plaquing? Do you have congestion underneath the skin preventing you from sweating? All those things can be revealed with the eyes. And why that's so important to kidney filtration is because essentially kidney filtration is everything when it comes to detox. That's the main channel of elimination. And that ties into detox symptoms, because the people that experience the worst detox symptoms, usually their kidneys are not filtering fast enough or enough period that they start to feel a lot of unpleasant detox symptoms and for a long time, So you always want to address those kidneys. Now, anatomically speaking, the kidneys, you have the adrenal glands right on top of the kidneys. And with the adrenal glands, you have the nervous system running through the sympathetic nervous system, right? So a key component to getting the kidneys to filter is addressing adrenal gland weakness. Now we find that most people that have kidney weakness or problems filtering from their kidneys usually have an adrenal gland weakness. It makes sense because the tissues are right there. They're in the same region of the body, the same location. So acidosis, acids, congestion over time are going to affect both organs and glands, So it makes sense. So nowadays we see kidney and adrenal weakness all the time. Almost everyone has those weaknesses. But I would say that most people have adrenal gland weakness, right? So kidney filtration is essential to achieve. Now that's just the first channel of elimination. The second channel of elimination is the colon. Now you'll see in those of you that have started your detox journeys, you will see that if your colon is not functioning properly, if you're not having regular bowel movements each day, like let's say if you miss a day, you will see a lot of backlash from that. You'll see headaches, you'll see head pressure, you'll see brain fog, you'll see depression. Some people will start to see skin rashes, pimples develop, edema, all these things. The colon is directly tied to the rest of the body. That's why it's called a reflexive organ. So different regions of the colon, the transverse colon, the ascending colon, the descending colon, the cecum, the sigmoid colon, the hepatic flexure, the sigmoid flexure, all those things, if you have impactions in any area of the colon, that directly reflects the toxicity that's being brought into certain areas of your body. So one that is infamous that I see all the time is impactions in the transverse colon, always affecting the head region, always affecting the pituitary gland, the master gland of the body that controls all the other glands. So we start to see how important the colon is. I always say, if someone is going after their health and does not address their colon, they won't get anywhere. They just won't. Because with the colon, the toxicity travels everywhere in the body. You can't escape it, right? So the colon is the second channel of elimination. On top of needing to move your bowels every single day, because obviously we see this even within the body, the trillions of cells in your body consume energy in carbon and oxygen, creating energy, but they also produce waste matter, as do we as human beings. We consume for energy, we produce waste. So it's important to continuously remove these wastes. So many people are literally decaying from the inside out just because they're drowning in their feces, they're drowning in their waste, So many diseases, so many health issues can be eliminated, prevented, and eliminated, normally speaking, just by cleaning out the body. Now, the worst cases, the cases that are the most difficult to heal, have levels of degeneration in the body, whether that's within the glands themselves, the organs, genetic weaknesses, decaying of the colon. That's a whole nother ballpark. But usually, if you're in that first stage where you only need to detox your body and eliminate congestion, and you start to feel 100 times better and you start healing and you get your health back, that's the first stage. You are one of the lucky ones. But most people are not there. Most people have reached the chronic levels of diseases. I think statistically speaking, I remember reading a few months back that on average 1 out of 2 Americans have a chronic illness. That is not good. That statistic, people should be ashamed, society in general, the medical system, health professionals, the human race in general should be ashamed, because back in the day, things were not that bad. Now that has a lot to do with, of course, our eating habits, the fact that we don't spend enough time outdoors anymore or move our bodies physically. We're becoming weaker as a species in the foods that we consume, in our energy, in so many different things, in just being exposed to radiation, being exposed to all these toxins like chemicals, body care products, the list just goes on and on, vaccinations, all those things, medications. Yes, back in the day, things were a lot better. Things were a lot cleaner, a lot more natural back in the day. Our great-grandparents, that's kind of where I'm coming from. But at the same time, since those people were living not so much as a sedentary lifestyle that we're living today, and they were also not as gluttonous as we are today, not eating out of boredom, things like that, not overeating, things were better. But that affected their genetics, As time went on, though, as the times went on, these weak genes, because they didn't detox, even though they were feeling fine, they didn't detox. So they passed all these genetic weaknesses onto us. And now here we are present day with even babies being born with severe genetic weaknesses and being born with eczemas and with cancers and with respiratory issues and all those things, right? So essentially everyone should detox. Everyone should detox to ensure your own health, your own future, to ensure the continuation of the human race, because honestly, With how things are going now, I don't know how much longer the human race will last, you know? So coming across this detoxification knowledge and improving yourself, improving your own health, focusing on yourself is what's going to save the world. Every time you focus on healing yourself, you're not only healing yourself, you're impacting the entire world around you. The people that will be inspired by your healing journey, they're going to be affected. The offspring that you have, you know, some of you will have children, their genetics will be affected. The weak genetics won't be passed down onto them. Their eating habits will be different, you know. Your families, I'm sure many of you, having gone through this detox journey and having healed your illnesses, I'm pretty sure many of your families have already started changing the way that they eat, you know. So it's really not all about just, you know, I'm not making a difference, you know, just by healing myself. That's not the case, you know. Like, I did not know that I was going to be here. Like, a few years back, I did not know I was going to be here talking to you guys on camera, you know. But so many of you have written to me saying, like, thank you so much for making these videos because I've healed this, I've healed that, or I'm healing each day, you know. So everyone has the power to make these ripple effects, and they just keep on growing and growing and growing. It's a beautiful thing. But yeah, this video is getting you know how I am, guys. You know how I am. When I get very passionate, I want to share everything with you guys. I want you to understand everything. I want you to you know, find that passion to get your health back, because those are the people that really make a difference in their healing, on their healing journey and healing themselves. They are passionate people, passionate about their health. They make their health and healing their number one priority. That's where you want to be at, you know? Like, it doesn't matter what people say. It doesn't matter if they ridicule you or if they call you crazy for following this diet, or if they don't understand, you know. It's nothing to do with you. Everything to do with them, okay? Just send them love and keep your focus, you know. So many people that were great in history, you know, that influenced so many people even till this day, they were always met with ridicule. People didn't understand them at the time, and now they're celebrated, you know. So you have to be that trailblazer in order for the truth to shine. The truth will always prevail, you know. So let's continue on. The colon, we discussed that, second channel of elimination. The third one is the skin. The skin, a lot of times, if people are not sweating through their skin, if they have congestion under their skin, so many times we see thick nerve rings around the eyes. These people have been holding on to waste and acids within their skin, not being able to be purged out of their bodies for years. And as a result, what happens? A lot of interstitial lymphatic constipation within the body. A lot of waste being held and built upon over years and years. Lymph nodes start to swell. You know, a lot of degeneration starts to occur because the longer you hold on to acids in your body, the more your cells start to deteriorate. And that's where you see degeneration in the eyes and in the body, right? So the skin is very important to go after. And I always tell people, you know, go to the sauna, go to a steam room, or do anything to get your skin to sweat, essentially. Very important to open up that channel of elimination. And oftentimes, it helps detox symptoms lighten up. It helps the journey out a lot and cuts healing time in half, you know? So it's very important to expectorate from the skin. A lot of times there's that connection, though, between the skin and the thyroid. People that have very low sweating abilities, even people that have low sweating abilities and they try to go to the sauna, they tell me all the time, I maybe sweat one drop of sweat like after 15 minutes in the sauna, you know, not before that. But people that do have strong thyroid glands or strong glands overall, you know, the pituitary connection to the thyroid, where you want to be at is you want to perk up your glands to encourage sweating in your body so that you can start to sweat when you enter the sauna after 3 to 5 minutes, you know? if you have better elimination in your body on all these levels, on all these channels, you will not experience the suffering that comes with holding waste within the body. Okay? So that's the skin, you know? And then the next is the lungs. It's so important to get outside every single day. Do not spend your life stuck in boxes. Do not spend your whole life stuck inside, indoors, because all this dust, you're breathing that in all the time. This lack of oxygen, this lack of energy flow, this stagnation creates stagnation within. Lack of sunlight creates a lot of nutritional deficiencies as well. Makes you sad, makes you depressed. And even if it's cold outside where you are in the world, taking 10 to 15 minutes just to get your butt outside, outdoors, can make all the difference during your detox journey. And practicing deep breathing. That's another way to move the lymphatic system, is through deep breathing. You have no idea how many times I've experienced this, and I've also told my clients to do this. Go outside, practice deep breathing, and how many times have they coughed up wads of mucus after that, or tonsil stones being ejected. Proteins and putrefying matter is ejected when you utilize the lungs to their full capacity. When you intake fresh oxygen, that moves and pumps the lymph system as well, So those are the 4 main channels of elimination. Another channel of elimination is the mental and emotional bodies, and that's where emotional detox comes in. And I'm sure you guys have experienced that, for those of you detoxing, your emotions going high and low, periods where you don't know why you're crying, you just feel like crying and you let it out, but then afterwards you feel a lot better. Or sometimes you start laughing and just out of nowhere, you don't know why, you don't know what the reason is. It's very important to let these things happen during your detox journey. Don't judge it, just feel it within that present moment and then let it go. Right when the storm clears, just let it go, practicing detachment with that. These things happen when the body has to eliminate something, and it's different for every single person. So oftentimes what I see with my clients in cases is people that have very weak adrenal glands. Their adrenals are suppressed. They're oftentimes the people that have a hard time with kidney filtration in the beginning, But over a certain period of time, once they start addressing those adrenal glands, then they start to experience those highs and lows. It's because so often the adrenals have been suppressed through traumatic experiences or karmatic experiences or negative emotions energetically being held on top of these adrenal glands. So the more you can fully express your emotions without judgment, without ego, without painfully suffering and attaching to that identity, the faster your glands will heal. And then you will start filtering, and then everything starts to get moving and flowing, right? I find that that's a big part of emotional detox, is just the healing of the glands and purging. And the beautiful thing about it is when you cry, a lot of people, when they physically cry and have crying sessions, they eliminate so much mucus from just that one session, because the physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual bodies are all connected. So what we often see is the mental and emotional start to detox after you start moving the physical level. Once you start moving the lymph and draining all those lymphatic channels, once you start draining all those waste out of your body, physically speaking, then it's time for your mental and emotional to follow forward. The last step is spiritual level. That's the last step. And that's what I tell my clients is They have that to look forward to. Right now, it's very rocky, it's very bumpy. You know, you're like right in the middle of the sea, you know, with the waves and the storms and all that stuff. But what happens after the storm? It clears. It eventually clears to a bright and sunny day with calm waters. And that's where you're headed. That's what you want to be, emotionally speaking. And that's what we see with the progression of detoxes. At the end of the day, at the end of the journey, people become emotionally stronger. And it should be in a way where, let's say, something that someone said to you in the past, for example. If you were someone that was pretty sensitive to what other people told you, let's say someone called you a name, or someone blamed something on you, or someone judged you, anything like that, that event would have sent you to tears in the past, or to crazy overthinking thoughts, all those things. After detox, once you reach that strength in your adrenal glands and in your endocrine glands, and have healed all those layers, doesn't affect you at all. Someone can throw an emotional dart at you with their words. It would be as if you didn't even feel it at all, you know? That's what people experience, and that's where you're going to go after you detox. That's what I experienced as well. I used to be extremely sensitive. And I always find that the cleaner I eat, the less sensitive I become. Now, that's not to say that I become cold like a rock. That's not what I mean. It means that I become more aware of what I give my energy to. I become more aware of where my thoughts go that cause those negative emotions and negative reactions, you know? I still have a sensitive nature, a sensitive spirit where I can appreciate the beauty that's around me. I feel that deeply. But do I let people affect me and affect my actions and affect my thoughts? No. I've learned the hard way that path is a tough one, you know? So you have to protect yourself. You have to protect yourself from being swayed by other people's words, you know? You have to be confident in yourself and strong within yourself. Now, people may feel the opposite of that if they have all these weaknesses in their bodies, and that's why it's so important to detox. But things always get worse before they get better, essentially, and that has to do with every single detox symptom in the body. You know, there's always a storm right before the calm, essentially, you know. So yeah, that was a good base to build on for this video, talking about those channels of elimination, how they correlate with the rest of the body, and speaking a bit on emotional detox symptoms. You know, I find that during this time we tend to also feel guilty around feeling these emotional detox symptoms, because especially women, we always have some sort of guilt, because we do think like, well, are things actually as bad as I make them out to be? You know, at least I'm not starving. At least I live in a country of opportunity. You know, at least I'm free, you know. I'm free, even though physically some of us may not feel free, but we will eventually get there. We always feel guilt from that. I want you to know, do not feel guilty, you know. Everyone is on their own journey, you know, and I've seen people tormented and physically suffering and spiritually suffering, even if they're not in a third world country. Someone can be living in a third world country and be extremely happy, you know, with the bare minimums to survive. But someone can also be in a privileged country, tormented by their thoughts and tormented by the physical ailments in their body. So, you know, this is also a time, detox is also a time to not compare yourself, to anyone at all. Whether someone is doing better than you or worse than you, that's the ego talking. Whenever you let that ego drive the car and get into the passenger seat, you won't go anywhere fast, you know? You have to take control of that ego and tame it. Only use it when necessary, right? That ego was put into us as humans as a form of survival, you know? But we don't have to always be constantly on edge in survival mode. We can take control of our thoughts and feelings and emotions and use them to our will to transform our lives, to take control of our journeys, you know? So yeah, I just wanted to talk a little bit about that. But let's jump into physical detox symptoms that people can be feeling on this journey, right? Physical detox symptoms. Things that you don't want to see for too long. Lymph node swelling. Now, for people that have lymph node weakness, backed up lymph nodes within the body, you know, you often see this in the eyes. You'll see a lymphatic rosary around the eyes. Those people tend to have lymph node swelling coming and going. A detox symptom you don't want to see is a lymph node swelling sticking around for too long. Means you're not addressing the root cause. Means you're not moving lymph in that area. In areas where there's lymph node swelling, it means that the bacteria, the macrophages in the lymph nodes are not doing their job at buffering the acids, at consuming denatured and mutated cells, and then taking them to the kidneys, right? So you don't ever want to see that for too long. Good detox is if the lymph nodes swell up a little bit, go down. If they go up and down for a little while, that's okay. Eventually to the point to where everything goes down and everything drains, you know? Because oftentimes it just takes a lot of time, if you're someone that's very congested within, to drain those miles and miles of lymph vessels in your body. And on top of that, to get your kidneys to filter consistently and thick layers of sediment coming out in your urine, you know? The more kidney filtration you can achieve, the more you can expect lymph node swelling to go down, congestion to be removed, all those things, right? So that's something you don't want to see too much, but it's also normal at the same time, right? And that is the case for a lot of cancers and tumors. Okay, the lymph nodes are essential. The thymus, addressing the thymus gland with that is essential. Now, another detox symptom that is quite common, and this is the case, you know, guys, detox is such an art and such a science, right? Everything's already ingrained into my soul so deeply that it's become second nature to me. So sometimes it's like, what do I talk about? There's so much to talk about. There's so much to discuss, you know? And it really varies from case to case. What I would recommend for one person is not what I would recommend for another. For instance, some people can handle fasting, some people can't. Some people can handle a certain type of fruit and some people can't. You know, some people can handle a certain type of herbal formula or glandular, some people cannot. Really, that's where the art form comes in. When to hit it hard, when to slow down. All that is very important during someone's detox journey. Because if you don't know what you're doing, sometimes you can hurt yourself. You know, there is such a thing as detoxing too fast, right? With the diet or with the herbal protocol, there is such a thing as detoxing too fast. What we see, this is very common, is if people are using very strong lymphatic formulas too soon, we often see an explosion of the skin, or we often see sometimes too much physical pain in the body. That's a big indication that you want to slow down on lymphatic formulas. Now, some people are so sensitive that even the diet makes them experience that and feel that. And that's when they have to take a slower approach. I was one of those people that I wanted to hit it hard during my detox journey. And so I have personal experience with this. I was like, well, you know, I want to detox as fast as possible. So let me take lymphatic number 4 and lymphatic number 5. Let's just see what happens. Well, what happened? Skin exploded into hives, right? Huge welts on my face that took some time to calm down after just taking the lymph formula once or two times, right? So it was that inexperience back in the day, many years ago, that resulted in that. But that's why I just want to share from my experiences from working on myself as well as working with clients what I see, so that you guys can be fully aware during your detox journey. So a way to handle that is just to start off slow. Start off with lymphatic number 1, the first one, right? Something gentle. You never want to start on a lymphatic formula that's very strong if the kidneys are not filtering. Most of the time you don't want to. Unless it is a disease like cancer or a degenerative disease where time is of the essence, people are, about to die on their deathbed. Unless it's a situation like that, then you normally do not go for the strongest lymphatic herbal formulas. Okay? And that's why it's important to work with a detox specialist, because I can only inform you guys so much through these videos. I can give you all the knowledge I know, right? But a lot of times it'll be general knowledge, because some things can apply to you, some things do not, right? But I think it's important to create a discussion in these videos so that, you guys can see, you guys can work on yourselves. And if you work on yourself and you're just not getting the progress that you need to or want to see, then you can work with me. Or if you're someone that does not have any time to waste, really, like weeks and months to try and do it yourself, I recommend work with me, It helps to have an outside perspective when you're in the midst of your detox journey, because when you're in the middle of it, your emotions can get the best of you, and then you can have poor judgment and make poor judgment calls, As a healer, I really had to learn to, be compassionate, but at the same time, have good judgment, Be balanced in my own life, take care of myself as well as take care of others and all of you. And that's something that you guys are having to deal with as well. Many of you are in chronic health conditions now because you chose to ignore the signs earlier in life. You chose to ignore the feelings that you had, like, well, I was constipated, or I had upper back pain, but I chose to ignore it, or I thought that having headaches, all the time was pretty normal, or, oh, everyone gets acne, right? Symptoms like that were warning signs that we chose to ignore. I'm guilty of that until my body could no longer function, to where I had to stop and say, okay, there's something not right here. I really have to focus on my health, right? Well, it's that careful balancing act that I see within myself and within all of you guys. Health is very important, and we have to address our health and make it our number one priority, because if we don't, then what good can we do in this world? Can we even function in this world without our health? We can't. Our spirits and souls are, as of now, tied to these physical bodies, and we want to have a pleasant time while we're on this earth. We want to have fun. We want to accomplish our goals and dreams. We want to be with our family members and friends and have a good time and have fulfilling relationships and take care of our children and, all these beautiful things. But we have to make ourselves number one, put ourselves first. There's so many of you are suffering right now because you did not put yourself first. You always put everyone else before you, So this is really a time, and it's not selfish to do so. It's not selfish to focus on yourself. It's not selfish to take care of yourself. I give you permission to take care of yourself right now, okay? So, yeah. That's a very, very important detox topic as well. I'm covering a lot of detox topics in this video, and again, this is not planned. I'm just speaking from my heart, speaking from my experience and what I'm seeing these past few weeks, you know, the same reoccurring struggles in many people's lives, in many people's cases, you know. So that's one detox symptom. Let's think of another detox symptom. Roaming pains, that's a good one. Now, signs of roaming pains, tugging pains in different areas of your body, that is normally a good sign of detox, because you're going to feel all the areas that are very weak in your body. You're going to feel a tugging sensation in those areas as you move and pump the lymph system, as you open up the channels of elimination, because so often this has been the case for many people, especially if they've been given antibiotics or medications in the past that shoved and suppressed the lymph system, shoved all the acidosis and waste to, you know, just as a treatment-based thinking type thing. Like, oh, I had a cold and flu-like symptom, doctor, give me something so that I don't have to deal with that anymore. Boom, suppressed, you know? Or give me something for my headache, or give me something for my menstrual cramps, you know? Or anything like that. Those are things that you have to deal with during detox. As all these acids start coming out, you're going to start feeling pain in those areas. But that's a sign that things are moving. It's always a good sign. Now, I don't want people to be in too much pain, because then that'll start affecting you on a soul level. You know, I don't want your soul to suffer from all this physical pain, right? So it's really just a matter of doing things as best as you can. If you can handle a little bit of pain during your detox, then that's good. Normally speaking, these roaming pains that occur in the body, they usually don't have any rhyme or reason. It's the most insane thing. You can start having pains in your knee when you have never felt pains in your knee before in your entire life. And then you'll feel that in that area for like a few minutes or like an hour. And then it'll move to your elbow or your shoulder, you know, or your neck or your back, like different areas. This movement of pain and tugging within the body in that region of time is a sign of good detoxification that's occurring. You know, it means that the acids are moving out and about to be eliminated through the channels of elimination. Now, oftentimes I see this occurring in a lot of clients when they undergo fasting. Fasting is a deeper level of detoxification than eating raw foods. Now, fasting should be incorporated during different stages of detox. Some people can jump into fasting fairly quickly, and there's different types of fasts as well. You know, I'm going to come out with a fasting book very soon. I've been working on it for some time, so you guys will be able to get more knowledge from that book on all the different levels of fasting and how you can safely fast, and who can fast and who shouldn't fast, and all those different things, right? But fasting is normally done. It's normally done with consuming a diet of raw foods for a long period of time, getting all the channels of elimination to open, especially the bowels, before you open up to the idea of incorporating fasting into your detox. I'll say that much. But yeah, fasting definitely it heightens your detoxification experience. For sure, you'll see very different detox symptoms during that time, but also you'll see a lot of elimination during that time, right? So yeah, that's a really good, fascinating one, is seeing those roaming pains. Whenever I see that in a client, I get so excited, because whenever you eliminate waste from that area of pain, you know, that's what's occurring. Whenever you feel that pain in that area, you're eliminating waste, then that tissue automatically becomes stronger, you know, and your body might revisit that area again later on in your detox. You know, I've noticed that the body tends to address areas that are the most important to address, you know. So for instance, an area that is highly inflamed or degenerated or impacted, the body will address that area first. If someone is dealing with an issue of the central nervous system, for instance, even though the brain is quite far away from the kidneys. It's very hard to drain the brain in someone's in the beginning of someone's detox journey. The body will do whatever it can to start eliminating waste from there, and you'll start to feel detox symptoms from there, because you need the central nervous system, you need the brain in order to function, right? You need that mental sharpness, you know. Now what you don't need is physical energy. That's why so many people experience physical exhaustion, and it's oftentimes that the body chooses to slow you down physically on purpose, you know, so that it can do the most healing, the maximum amount of healing. So some people, like, whereas they used to have more energy through eating a regular diet, a meat diet, some people experience the opposite once they come off of the meats and start consuming more raw. Their body tends to slow down. A lot of times has to do with adrenal weakness and blood pressure involvement, but isn't it funny how those people where they tend to slow down, it's because they really need to slow down. These people normally are just go, 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 push myself to the limit, push myself to the max. A lot of them have been gym goers, you know, but you can't really detox if you're always go, go, go. You have to relax. The more you're able to relax and de-stress during your detox program, the better elimination you will have, you know, because there's that dopamine connection between the adrenal glands and the kidneys. There's that neurotransmitter connection. The more you're able to relax and not always be in that fight or flight state, the better the kidneys will open up and begin to filter, you know? So, yeah, it's a very beautiful thing. There's so many connections, and the body is intelligent. It's really about having faith during this time, you know? That's like in the forefront of what it takes for people to heal, is having that faith. Having dedication is also extremely important. Really not caring what other people think is very important. So being proud of that individualism within yourself, you know, not egotistically, not like I'm better than everyone else, not in that way, but like in a way that I am a very special soul, very special spirit and person, and I matter, and I'm so happy that I am, you know, that I have so many beautiful various interests, you know, and it's okay if the people around me don't understand, because I love myself, you know, I feel comfortable within myself and with my hobbies and with my beliefs, you know. So yeah, that's my advice about that. A lot of these things are just very common patterns that I see when talking to you guys over the phone. It's very beautiful. I love helping all of you heal. Let's just put it that way. And I'm trying not to cry in this video, because if I think about it too much, I'll begin to cry. Okay? So let's see. Another detox symptom. You know, I said this video was going to be a short one because I actually have my husband's dad came to visit. So we're spending a week with him. So you know, it's not often that we get family members that visit us here in Florida, you know. Our family, my husband and my family, they're in New York, they're in Virginia, they're like, you know, all over the place, and we're all the way here in Florida. But as always, like, I always want to keep on going with these videos because there's just so much to talk about. So let's see, another detox symptom. I'll quickly touch up on this one. A detox symptom that concerns a lot of people is when they start seeing blood come out, right? If they're coughing up mucus and they see a little bit of blood in there, or if sometimes people have things like hemorrhoids or anal fissures or anything like that, then oftentimes you'll see blood in their stools, you know, or if they wipe, a little bit of bleeding there. Now these things are okay and are normal to see when you are detoxing. If you are on an all raw diet or a very high raw diet when first starting out and you start seeing these things are normal. And this is because You're finally getting rid of mucus congestion, and the blood, the old blood in the body that was there from the acidosis, from the acids deteriorating and thinning the capillaries, the capillary walls, all that stuff, all that old blood that comes out, or it could be new blood. Sometimes it's new blood. If you start moving congestion surrounding those capillaries and you start moving acids, a little bit of blood will come out from that. That's fine. That's normal. If it's excessive amounts of blood, not normal, and I recommend a certain herbal formula, the bleeding herbal formula, to be taken with that, you know. But if it doesn't last for a long time, or if it's a very small amount, that's fine, and that's a good sign of detox. Another common detox symptom, and this is what we often find in children, is fevers. Fevers are fine, you know. The younger the child is, you have to monitor the fevers, you know. You can't let it get up to a certain point. But safely speaking, I have seen fevers get up to 105 and the child is okay. As long as you continuously hydrate the child, you know, hydrate them with fruit juices and with juices. That is the highest occurrence that I've seen. And oftentimes children will not get that high. They'll usually get around to, you know, I've seen 101, 103, 103 being the most common when it comes to like the high fevers that are achieved during detox. 105 is like that one rare occurrence, but even then, it's fine, you know. Now, I don't mean this for infants. For infants, it's different. But for children, you know, ages 1 through 4, for children, it's very normal. What does a fever, like what is its purpose? What does it serve? Well, with fevers comes the heightening of the body temperature. It's able to get rid of bacteria and viruses within the body, parasites, you know. Oftentimes, right before passing a parasite, you will experience very high fever, low energy, emotional detox symptoms right before passing something like that. Even in adults, that's what we see all the time. But generally speaking, a fever is so powerful that it even has the capacity to destroy cancer cells, because cancer cannot survive in such a high temperature, a high environment, you know. So fever serves a lot of purposes. It also opens up the skin to sweat more. It's a beautiful detox symptom to experience, as are cold and flu-like symptoms. Those two go hand in hand. It's a blessing to experience expectoration like these, because after going through a crisis like that, you will find that your body just works so much more, that you feel so much more freedom, less pain, more clarity, all those things. So it's excellent. Okay. Now, when it comes to detoxing children though, that's definitely a time when you would want to work with a detox specialist like myself that's experienced, because, you know, there's a lot of things that you have to be aware of, like certain dosages when taking the herbs, you know. How hard can you hit it? Because typically for children, you want to avoid giving them too many formulas, because children are like adults, you know. They have less wear and tear, yet you still address detox the same way, right? But you don't want to go too hard. The only exception really is if the child has a chronic or degenerative illness, you know. No matter how young or old they are, you do want to address it pretty quickly in that case. But that really depends on the reaction that you see. You know, with the questions that I ask you guys during our calls together, I'm able to get a better picture of how your body will respond with the protocol that I give you. And that affects the protocol that I write for you. For example, if someone tells me, well, my child is very allergic, very sensitive to a lot of things, allergic to pet dander, allergic to trees, allergic to different sorts of fruits and different foods, then I know I have to move much slower with the child, you know. If we don't see that, then we can move a little more. Or sometimes that's just in the beginning. Sometimes that's the case just in the beginning. And if you start draining the lymph system, you know, because in people that have allergies, the lymph system is at its full capacity. If you shake it or stir it around a little bit, everything will start flowing, so you have to take it slow. 1 drop at a time, taking it out. But once it reaches a certain level, you can hit it harder then, you know? So it really depends on the person. Essentially, anyone dealing with chronic health issues, it's very important to work with a detox specialist. I'll put it to you that much, because it's just so much information that one needs to learn in order to ensure that they are on the right path, that they are following the correct protocol. And let me tell you guys, it's taken many, many years of practice, many years of learning this knowledge, and many years of, you know, working with clients for me to have gained all this knowledge on detoxification, you know. So it's not something that can be learned overnight, you know. I'm speaking even with the detox specialists that are watching this video right now. Being a detox specialist is not something that you can learn within a week. You know, it takes a lot of dedication and focus, just like healing your body does. You know, it takes a lot of dedication and focus. And I always say to detox specialists, you have to work on yourself first. You have to completely heal your body first before you can see to it that you're able to help others heal. Because there's so many like detox cycles within someone's healing journey that if you're in the midst of yours, you don't know everything that happens during a detox journey for someone to heal completely, you know? You're in the midst of it yourself. So I always say, focus on yourself, focus on detoxing, healing yourself, and then you can help others heal. I'll have to wrap it up here, guys. I have a lot of work to do today, but I also want to spend time with my family. You might be able to tell in this video, but I'm a little worn out, just because I've been working on simultaneous projects, and I'm also I've been going to the gym too again. You know, there's a certain level of physical, emotional energy, mental energy that's required of someone that's a healer, and you have to really walk a balanced path. So you know, it's a lot, guys. I always want to be the best possible version of myself to help all of you heal, you know. And sometimes it can... Tuna. Baby. Baby. Go. Go, baby, go. I'm making a video. I'll see you soon. Okay, so let's talk about another detox symptom, and then we'll wrap it up. And you know what? If this video does well, then I might make a part 2. You know, if you guys enjoyed this video. The last detox symptom is, let's talk about changes in bowel movements, because I know that that is a very common occurrence during detox. Now, diarrhea, for the first few days, it's okay. As you clean and move things, as you change your diet, changes in bowel movements are going to be very common, you know? A lot of the times, it can go either way, depending on the level of weakness the person is experiencing, right? So, for instance, someone that's very constipated often has a lot of adrenal gland weakness and nervous system weakness, because the neurotransmitters that go through those two organs and systems control peristalsis in the colon, within the colon, and you know, the peristalsis helps move the stools along. So oftentimes, if people eat all raw, sometimes they experience constipation, backing up, because their adrenal glands become weakened, and they can experience waves of this. Or sometimes their nervous system is lit up through consuming all the fruits and the berries and the melons. You know, those are very energetically beneficial for the nervous system, are fruits, right? If someone's, based on their constitution, if they're able to really like nurture that nervous system, then they can go very regularly, you know, to the bathroom. But then Another side of it is some people can experience constipation while they're detoxing themselves if they're moving and tugging on the lymphatic system in the colon too aggressively. Then things can come to a standstill, you know? Sometimes we see that with the GI broom, which is why I always advise someone, make sure you're having 3 to 4 bowel movements every single day for at least a few weeks until jumping on the GI broom, you know? You want that set of time given to yourself. On the other hand, some people, when they start eating raw, they can experience diarrhea, you know, immediately. Purging of acids, purging of waste. Now, this is okay within the first few days, but if it continues to happen, then you know you need to slow things down a little bit. That's where the formulas come in. Stomach and bowel number 0 or number 1 will help, you know, firm things up, you know, because you don't want to, lose too much hydration or electrolytes from the colon, you know, through diarrhea. But on the flip side, you know, some people that have had problems with diarrhea before detoxifying themselves, when they start to detox, everything starts to normalize again and balance again, you know? So it just depends on the constitutional type that a person has. If someone has a strong constitution, they can heal a lot faster. They can see more positive effects within the body. But if they have a weak constitution, they can experience many detox symptoms and highs and lows, you know? And it really is dependent on that. And you know, I just wanted to say, guys, if you stuck around till the end of this video, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I definitely want to make a part 2, maybe a little more planned, but you know, like, these days I really don't have too much time to waste with all the projects and with all the clients that I'm working with on a day-to-day basis. I really don't ever have time to plan videos. So that's why they're like free-flowing. That's why they tend to be longer, you know. The more I think of things, the more I want to share. But let me know if you liked this video by leaving it a like. Leave your questions and comments down below, whether you like this video, whether you like that idea, or a question. You know, oftentimes I read your questions and they inspire different topics that I discuss in these videos. So keep those questions coming, definitely, because there's so much more to discuss when it comes to detoxification, as you guys can already tell. And you know, if you want to work with me one-on-one, and if you are in that chronic degenerative situation that I described in this video, I urge you guys, please don't hesitate to come to email me so that we can get you started on this detox journey the right way, because the more time that's wasted, the worse the condition and the health of the human body becomes, you know? Time is so valuable when it comes to detox. You don't ever want to waste time. You always want to be taking one step forward, always, you know? If you don't, you will be taking steps backwards. That's the nature of acids. That's the nature of obstructions. So it's time to just clear all that out. Detox it all. Detox your entire life so that you can get your life back, you know, so you can be fully free, fully healthy, fully happy, fully to take on the world. If you want to work with me one-on-one, you can go to www.spiritropicalhealing.com. On the services tab, you'll find the Master Your Health package. That's the best package. With that package, you get an iridology reading, a phone call with me, or a Skype session. You know, I discuss everything I see in your eyes, your whole case, all your symptoms, everything about detox that you need to know. You get the herbal protocol and diet protocol, exactly what protocol you should be on with my findings that I found based on, you know, your disease conditions and your health symptoms and your genetic history and even your past health history. All that goes into account to build you the perfect healing protocol, as well as all the detox tools that you should be on and you should be incorporating that can fast track your detox a lot more and that can help you handle detox symptoms when they do come. So yeah, so I can't wait to work with many of you, with all of you. And until next time, I hope you guys are having a wonderful, beautiful day and stay strong on your detox journeys. I love you so much and take care. Bye.